Hi, and welcome to today's Motive setup. Today we are doing how to export and move into Blender. So first things first, we are going to ask you guys to save your project. This is just that way you ensure that everything's saved and nothing will happen when you're trying to export. Then you're going to come up to File, scroll down to Export Tracking Data. Once you do that, this will pop up, and what it is it's just your export function. And what you're going to do is rename your session and make sure that you have BVH selected as well as your location, and then once you do that, just press export. Now once you do that, you're going to actually go ahead and move your stuff over to your machine that you're going to run Blender on. From there, you're actually going to import your tracking data. So you go down to BVH, you import that file, so a little thing will pop up in your file explorer saying that, hey, which one would you like to pick? You select the one that you just recently filmed and you import it. Once it's imported into your scene, it'll pop up. It may be bigger than you want it, so you may want to scale it. It's up to you. Obviously right here it's popped into the middle of one of our projects that we did using a Mocap and Blender. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn off everything that we have currently active, so that way you guys can easily see everything that we are doing. So right here we only have our Mocap data just showing, so it's just the skeleton. What you're going to do is you're going to come down to the armature tab right here, and what you're going to do is click on arrest pose. This is only meant to move the character into a T-pose. That way you can put any mesh that you want into it, because what you do is you tend to build the mesh in a T-pose first and then attach it to your armature. So once here, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to File, Import. It really depends on what you have it as. Some people have it as a STL, some have it as another BVH file. It really depends on if you make it yourself or import it. For our sake, we're importing a used asset. So what we're doing is we're rotating it and scaling it up to fit the bone size. And you need to do this that way it can properly pair with your mesh. It's not something that you can choose. So either way, you can either make the mesh bigger, or you can make your armature or skeleton smaller. In our case, we're actually going ahead and we're just going to make the mesh bigger, so that way it's easier for you guys to see what we are doing. So obviously here we're just upping everything. Right, and then what you want to do is you want to try to get it about the same size. So as you can tell here, our legs and feet are a lot bigger than our armature. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep moving this around until we get it to roughly the right size. Now right here, obviously we want too small, so that means we have to go a little bit bigger in order to properly make it work. So now we're at the point where it is roughly the same size. So what we're actually going to do is just adjust it a little bit, make it a little better. But at this point, not much change needs to be done. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to we're going to move it up, properly get it to fix it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this armature or skeleton. I'm just going to call it armature from now on. And we are going to hit tab and turn on x-ray mode. And what this does is it allows us to see the armature a lot better when we're handling it with our mesh. And from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to move all of our armature spots to mesh with or pair with the mesh a lot better, so it actually looks more like a human skeleton. So what we did was we turned on mirror, which what it does is whatever you do on one side, it happens to the other side as well. And this is just to make it a lot easier for us. We only have to do one side, and it allows us to finish a lot faster. So I'll be right back once we are done doing this. So at this point now we're looking around to see how it looks. As you can see, obviously it's a little bit farther back, like poking out. So what we're doing is we're just going to move the mesh back to even it out some, make it look more centered. And then from there, we're just looking at the armature again, just making sure everything looks all right, fix anything that we need. And obviously right here, as you can tell, it's a little hard to see, but the kneecap isn't fully functional, so we're going to have to fix that here in a moment. Alright, so now the body's actually done, and so what we're going to do is we're actually now going to come in and pair it. The way that you want to pair it is by coming in and first selecting our mesh and then your armature, and then you're going to go down to parent with automatic weights. And what you can do is then make sure that you have the armature selected, so that way you can click on position pose again. What it does, it'll snap you both your armature and mesh at the same time to its original spot. Now, if you were to press play at this point in time, as you can see, it's going to start moving. The mesh is going to follow everything that your armature does. Now, obviously, there's some issues that we had when capturing it, so it's obvious and showing. But if you ever do it, you can also adjust armature and do some extra keyframing that will actually allow you to do it. Now what we're doing is we're deleting it, and we are going to now show you how we made our original scene. So this is our original road, or let's see here. So this is our road that we built. And then we have our sidewalk. Let's turn this into color mode so you can see what we're doing. We've got our alleyways where a person walks from. We've got our person itself. Let me go ahead and reset him to the position. Now we are going to turn on our cameras as well as our houses, and this is our scene that we were able to create. All right, this is just a taste of what our render looks like. Thank you everyone for coming.